Okay, boys, what do you say? I got, oh, no. What do you give for him? That's the auctioneer voice.
Okay, here it is, the very end of December, and our seasons are starting to wind down. This is the last day of Indiana's muzzleloader season, and it gives me, as a landowner and a manager, an opportunity to assess our year and look back and look at our successes and our failures and the challenges that we had through weather and other conditions.
I've had a trophy rock on this stump now for 4 years, and from the beginning of summer to the end of summer, this is one of those spots that you look forward to checking cards on weekly, because the bucks that are on this place will be at this rock at some point during the week, getting their weekly salt and their mineral supplement. So it's exciting as all get out to check these cards.
The biggest disappointment for me was our disappearance of our top 4 bucks on our wish list, or hit list as guys say. Trigger was a deer that many of you guys might have seen pictures of that I've posted before. This year he was a 6-year-old buck, and blew up into a big non-typical with stickers, and just a giant deer that I had a lot of experiences with. Found one side of his shed last year. He was a weekly visitor on our property last year. He was on at least one camera several times a week, all through the summer on the trophy rock. Most of his activity on our property was at night, but nonetheless he was there. So it always gave you that anticipation that you might see Trigger on a hunt. Last year I saw him one time with my own eyes.
Just saw a doe walking with him this way.
It was the Thursday of the opening week of Indiana's firearm season. I left work, I came out here, it was a weird 1 o'clock in the afternoon time frame. I got up in a tree back here on a saddle between where a bunch of ridges come together, and there he was. He was tending a doe on the ridge out in front of me 75 yards, and he came to my tree. The disappointing thing was, here I am carrying a bow in the firearm season, because it could have easily had a shotgun or a muzzleloader with me. Chose to hunt with a bow. And as he brings the doe in under the tree at 15 yards, goes behind a big beech tree, I start to draw back. I felt the wind shift from a northwest to an east, right off the back of my neck. I knew it went right over the top of that doe, and she spun around. She didn't turn inside out, but it was enough to change her direction. And there he went walking out of my life, and it was a 65-yard opportunity the next time I saw him, and I wasn't going to take that with the bow. So that was the only time I saw Trigger last year. So went into this season with high hopes, high expectations, and August the 20th was the last picture that I got of him. Another buck that we call Crook, was a giant wide 10-pointer with a crooked brow tine. A deer that we call Blades, which was a huge 4 to 5-year-old 8-pointer. There are several more, but all those bucks disappeared. Except one, good old Whitesocks. My biggest objective this year, my biggest goal, was to help my oldest daughter Morgan get her first buck.
It's weird. I've never done this before, but I don't want to kill a big buck until my daughter does, so I really want to stay out of my best places now until she gets her opportunity. Let's go see.
Whitesocks is a home-bodied deer. Luckily, he had no problem coming through the season. He was healthy, he was here every day. We started getting photographs of this deer as a 2-year-old buck. As he started to show up in the season, there was one distinguishable characteristic about this buck, that you could see him from 100 yards away through the timber as he was approaching you, because he had just an unusually large amount of white coloration on the front of his legs. And he also had sort of a gray coat and a smashed nose. His nose was real unusual, and he just had a different look about him. But those white legs is what really set him off, so we nicknamed him Whitesocks. Whitesocks was under every tree that I hunted. Just every weekend that I was here, he walked by my stand, literally. That season, Morgan and I were hunting. She, had yet to kill a buck, and she passed him, I know, probably 5 times, and on film, and a couple opportunities where he was right in front of her. So, Whitesocks gets the pass that year.
It took some willpower. He was pretty daggone close with me.
Yeah, didn't even look up.
Fast forward, Whitesocks last year as a 3-year-old caught Morgan's attention. He was a good-looking buck. Once again, the ironic thing about it was I saw him all the time. Every time I hunted, I had encounters with him. I had him grunting and snort wheezing and running bucks off around me, the week prior to the peak of the rut.
Morgan, I'm sorry. I wish you were here right now. You could kill him right now. This is unbelievable. He's buck number 8 from this tree today. It's unbelievable.
Timing just never worked out. Every time Morgan came down from college and had the opportunity to hunt with me, he was never there. She'd leave, and the next day I'd I'd call her and say, he was all around me again. I'm sorry, it's just the timing, you know, it's just your luck. So we have a saying in our family, James Luck, and it's kind of an inside joke, but it seems to be true.
There's a place I go, tucked back in the pines, where a green field grows, my own little paradise. I'm thankful for this land and the life that it provides. See, the measure of a man is what he leaves behind. Oh, oh, take what you need and pass it on down.
Sometimes you just got to get on old Chucky. Let him loosen up a little bit.
I am what I am. If you sit me down, I'm going to talk like this. In trails, in pine plantations, nothing can be better.
That'd have been good if he hadn't just bulldozed the camera.